important to teach your children about financial literacy and the basic principles of investing from as early as you can. This will help them to make the right financial decisions and investments from an early age. Let me give you an example that can show you, by just sparing yourself and driving the same car for 5 years longer, how you can put yourself in a fantastic financial position later on. Let's imagine two boys stepping out of university, getting into their first job, and both wanting to buy themselves a car. Both of them can spend the same amount every month, and let's say that's 3,500 Rand. The first one, let's call him Bill, decides to buy himself a car that only costs him 1,500 Rand a month. Bob, on the other hand, decides he'll spend the whole 3,500 Rand to buy his car, which is obviously fancier. After 5 years, both of them sit with the down-paid car. Bill decides there's nothing wrong with the car and he'd prefer to actually keep on driving that car and keep on investing the difference that his friend is paying into a car, into his equity portfolio. His equity portfolio by this time is already 200,000 Rands worth. Bob, on the other side, decides he's going to get an upgrade of the car, trades in the car that he currently has, and just starts paying 4,500 Rand on his car. Bill saves the 4,500 Rand into his equity portfolio. After 5 years, when they're both 35 years old, both of them really need a new car. Bob for the image, and Bill due to some facts that his car doesn't work as nicely as it used to 10 years ago. So at this stage, Bill sits with an equity portfolio of around 800,000 Rand. He decides to buy himself a 200,000 Rand car with cash. Bob decides to buy himself a car with 6,500 Rand payment per month and just trades in his car to do that. After 5 years, when they're both 40 years old, Bob decides that he again needs a new car because it really suits his new job, and Bill decides that he's going to buy himself a new car again out of some of the cash that he has in his equity portfolio. At this stage, his equity portfolio is already at 1.6 million Rands worth. He buys himself a new car with 250,000 Rands of cash and now already has 3 down-paid cars and an equity portfolio of 1.35 million Rands. Bob, on the other hand, sits with a car and he's just driving a fancier car every year. Let's say they both end up at the age of 45, 5 years later. Here we see that Bill now sits with an equity portfolio of 3.5 million Rand and Bob only with a down-paid car. The moral of the story is, by making sound financial decisions and actually saving up for something you want to buy, ends up being much more profitable for you in the long term than just buying on debt.